Alicia Peñalba, María José Valles, and Elena Partesotti from Universidad de Valladolid. And they are going to show some research related to the Metabody project. Research on gestural diversity in the use of the Metabody box, motion, sound, interactive system. Welcome. Associated partners as well.
Okay, thank you very much for the organization to invite us to this conference and to the project and to the meeting. Hold on a second. Okay, we are going to present a paper called Gestural Diversity in the Use of Metabody Box, a Motion Sound Interactive System, and we are a team from University of Valladolid. Although I'm not going to get very deep into the theoretical background, I must mention Gibson's ecological approach to visual perception and his concept of affordances as opportunities for the subject to interact with objects. Depending on the actions of this subject, his perception will be different. There you can see all the authors that have applied this concept to music, but I have not time to get deep into that because I have to present more the empirical part. I also take the types of performance that I present in 2008 and 2010 within interactive devices. There I explain how some people, some performers focus more on sound. That means that the interactive device is seen as a musical instrument, so they move in order to get certain sound they want to get. Other people base more on movement, and that means the sound is not relevant for them, and they move and use space and direction and contrast of gestures, etc. But something that interactive devices allow that acoustic instruments don't is what I call the interactive exploration. That means that the subject moves, and depending on the sound he gets, then the next movement will be modified or pushed by this perception. So, for example, if I move like that and I listen to shh, then my next movement will be shh, for example. Okay. Well, this is based on sensory motor contingencies theory presented by Origen and Norbert. I've mentioned it. So the study, we belong to the Metabody project, and we are collaborating with Metabody bags developed by Palindrome, Infamous, IMM, and different composers. And in Valladolid, we are collaborating with Museo Patio Herreriano. In Metabody project, we have proposed 3 lines of research. One is to study the diversity. Another is to study the possibilities of Metabody box as a therapeutical tool. And another one is to propose and discuss about ideas of how to understand and to study gestural diversity, so about methodology. So the aim of this first line is to identify affordances that an interactive sound gesture-based system allows to different people. We have designed a study with, now it has just begun. We've been working 2 months, and then we have just 88 people, subjects of all ages, occupation, gender, people with disabilities and with not disabled. Their task is that they have to move for 4 minutes into environments which are called fields room and tonality chair. So I know you, because of Marcelo's presentation, you know better the Metabody box. The methodology we used combine quantitative and qualitative data. We use interviews, about 20 minutes for each person. We use some test, which is a standardized test for valence and arousal. We are interested in knowing if the excitement level increases or not before and after each trial, and also valence, so the mood and the way the person feels. We use observation, and we have designed a very concrete and deep form of observation. We have 2 observers, and we videotape and then analyze. So, as I said, this study has just begun, but we have some preliminary results that we present now. So, after analyzing all the data, we have found that people are unique in moving, but it's true that we could classify different types of movement. Some of them are more usual, and some of them are really, really unusual. So, attending to the content, what we found is that some gestures are abstract, others are mimetic. Some people play the piano, the guitar, or when they listen to the water, they drink, they swim, or some are choreographic or stereotypes. So they use a choreography, flamenco or vals, or sometimes they use sonic content. For example, some people sing at the same time as they are doing the trials, or even they do body percussion. And other gestures are the expressive of inner thoughts. For example, the person has a plan or has an idea of how the system is working, and then you can see nodding or saying or shaking, like saying, yes, I understand, no, it's not working as it should, no? So this is very interesting. Depending on time development, some gestures are static. We found strange postures that people do. Some people pause, and some movements are discrete, and others are dynamic. Attending to levels of space, the most common are medium and low, but we also found people using the floor or the highest level. And attending to body parts, the most unusual gestures we've found are made by fingers, the mouth, the eyes, the tongue, and the waist. We've also contemplated effort, which is a Lavant category. And then, attending to these 3 types of interaction, we found that most of the people move into these 3 types during a performance. They don't have any idea of how the system works, and this is good because that allows to explore differently. We found that people who explore in an interactive way, sometimes they tend to use repetition, so they repeat a movement in order to get the same sound. Or, for example, they use smaller movements, discrete movements, and they use more unusual parts of the body, for example. People who focus on the sound sometimes use conducting gestures, and we've observed a lot of expressive gestures here. For example, this nodding or shaking as saying, no, it's not working as I want to. And people who focus on movement, they are more concerned of aesthetic. Also, the results of some tests show that arousal tends to arousal tends to increase after the first trial a little bit, and then decrease after the second. So you can see here what's happening before and after both trials. And also valence tends to increase, so people finishes a little bit happier. Yes?
What is valence?
Okay. Valence, arousal refers to the level of excitement you have, and it could be good or bad. It means if you are excited or not. And valence means mood. So if you are sad or you are more like neutral or
these are measures.
yes.
How do you take them?
It's a self-assessment.
Okay,
so they say what they which doesn't mean is the objective real thing.
Okay.
But they say what they think.
We have the faces.
Yes, it is a test that we have different faces, and they have to say which face do they empathize. Okay. So as a discussion, we have found it's something very preliminary, but well, we could constatate it, that disabled and non-disabled seem to have the same responses and opportunities. So we didn't find that, for example, disabled people were less, they use less gestures or different. So we found that they have the same opportunities. Experience influence the type of relationship with the system and the type of interaction. And we found that musicians and dancers, even if they are disabled or not, they have more interactive responses. And also, one of the environments, the first one, fields, allow more interactive affordances. Also, I think this is very interesting. The system, it's technology, but it has limits. Limits the affordance of the subject. It's what Gibson calls invariance, and this is a good point because it allows or pushes the subject to explore in different ways. When he cannot do certain things, that he explores differently. And this is a good point for the system in order to be a mediator of learning or therapy or even auto-regulation. Now I'd like to show a small video. So she doesn't know how the system works. Now she's focusing on her movement, and now she gets the interactive. Now. That means the gesture conditions the sound and the sound the gesture. Now we are going to see some sound-based interaction. Oh, sorry, this is interactive. The sound inspires her to breathe. Now we are going to see, this is fields, the other was fields, this is personality, and now this is sound-based. So trying to get sounds with the head, and now then later with the chest. Yes, here. First one, in the what I call interactive, is that the person moves, and depending on the sound, the moves gets in a certain direction or type or content. For example, with the breathing, she was moving and she finds the sound, and then the sound inspires her because it sounds similar or whatever at breathing, and then she moves in a certain way because it was the wind. And then here it's different. She is like playing on an instrument. Now with the head instead of the arms, but she's like playing she knows that if she moves, she's going to get the sound, so it's a little bit different. And sometimes, which is now, here, for example, it's based on the movement. She doesn't care about the sound, she just moves. Now we are going to see a child with Down syndrome. He's 8 years old. Trying to explore the different parts of the body, but a lot. Hello, mentioned when they pause, they better understand the interactive part. Thank you very much.